So now that I have your attention, let me ask you a question. What are you waiting for? There are two common objections I hear all the time on people wanting to wait to make a move in real estate. First objection I hear, or first comment I hear, is I'm waiting for interest rates to drop. Second thing I hear is I'm waiting for home prices to drop. So let's look at both of those. 5 or 6 years ago, a lot of us got lucky with a 2% or 3%. I've even heard of a sub 2% 30-year mortgage. Well, the experts say that those economic conditions that created that environment for those interest rates, they're not coming back. Now, I try not to speak in absolutes. I try never to say never, but generally speaking, the experts say that's not going to happen again. And what we do see are interest rates around 6%, and the experts say that they're going to continue to drop a little bit in the next year, and our new normal is going to be in that 5 to 6% range for the foreseeable future. Historically, these are good rates. Now, if you talk to older people, even older than me, they will tell you stories about buying homes in the early 80s at 15, 18, 20% interest rate. So historically, we're right on track. We've been around 6% historically since the early 90s. Waiting on the interest rates to drop reminds me of a guy named Charlie. I used to work with Charlie, and he drove a muscle car to work every day. And people would comment all the time about the great gas mileage he would get every day. And Charlie would always respond with, there's more to life than gas mileage. Charlie was driving the car he loved. Charlie was driving the car that made him feel good. Charlie was driving the car he wanted. So it reminds me of interest rates in homes. There are more things to consider when you buy a home, a lot more things. Think about that. And that second comment I hear about people staying out of the real estate market until prices come back down, that's just not realistic. There's a saying in real estate that the best time to buy is 10 years ago. Now, that doesn't mean that the best time to buy ever was in January 2016. It's an axiom that literally means real estate is almost always a safe bet, and it increases in value. When we look at home prices here in the Mid-Ohio Valley from 1990 up until about today, we see a steady increase in home prices. You know it. You've seen it. Homes are expensive, and you cannot buy the same home today for $65,000 that you could have in 1992 or 1993. That same house is probably around $200,000. So what we see is a steady increase of about 5% year over year, with a few tiny hiccups. One of those being 2008, late 2008 through 2010, known as the global financial crisis, which impacted real estate. But what we saw after that recession was a rebound in a very strong market in 2011. In fact, in 2014, regionally, we see a very strong market, and what we see is a seller's market where sellers had the advantage. Well, that has changed. As of about a year ago, we are in what's called a balanced market, and where sellers and buyers have equal power now in the negotiations and in the transaction itself. This is a good thing. This is a balanced market. It's good for everybody. But what we're seeing is prices have cooled and they have decreased. You can see this when you're looking online, and you'll see lots of price decreases. Sellers are coming in a little bit high. So I expect this market to gain its footing in the next probably 12 to 18 months, and then that 5 to 5.5% increase year over year will continue. So historically, home prices do not come down. And even what we're seeing right now after this mad dash, especially since 2021, where the curve looks a little bit steeper on home prices, prices will continue to rise. That's just the nature of real estate. So what I want for you is to not be 5 years in the future wishing you would have called me today, January 2nd, 2026. Let's not get to 2031 and wish you would have made a move, because prices will continue to go up. And consequently, housing prices do outpace wages and wage increases. So if you think you want to wait until you're in a better position, that might not happen. So there's no better time than the present. Historically, it's always a good time to buy a home. And if you're a first-time home buyer, it's time to invest in yourself. Let's say your first home is $150,000, which is very typical here in the MOV. In 5 years, that home is going to appreciate like this. The balance on your mortgage will go down like this. That in the middle, that increase is called your equity, and that is your money. All of that is your money. You're going to take that money in 5 or 6 years and you're going to roll that into a bigger, better, more expensive house that might work better for you and your family. And that might be your dream home, which you cannot afford today. But that's how real estate works. Give it a little bit of time and you will earn that equity in the home to roll that over into another home, a bigger home, a better home, a more expensive home that you can't afford today. But you need to get started right away. And if you've already started, if you're already a homeowner and you're considering a move, it may be time to look ahead and look at that next house. Look at making that next real estate move for you and your family. The bottom line is, if you're on the sidelines waiting for either of these two reasons, I feel like you may regret that in the future. It's a free phone call. I'll be right here. Yeah, I know. I should have led with you.